You would think that I remember what you're doing.
Nah, I would never think that.
Well, that's sad to hear about me. You know, when I hear about me and people report back about me, I'm just about as uncaring as I imagined I would be.
It's everything you dreamed.
No, because I don't. As the week goes on since I see you last, I'm not thinking to myself. I do sometimes if I'm on Twitter, but I don't think to myself enough. What's happening with Josh? He's going to be. Let me see.
Where is it going to be?
Chad Daniels.
No.
I can't believe I met you. I know it's not Chad Daniels because you specifically told me another name. Pete Lee.
Yes, hanging out with Pete too.
Now that's not bad, right?
No, I guess that's great. Congratulations.
What kind of a grade am I looking for?
I'm not sure.
If we grade on the curve of a doddering old man trying to find, I find you very iotose today.
What does that word mean?
I don't know. I saw it in the New Yorker about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Iotose.
Yeah.
And I may even be pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah. What did you infer it to mean?
And usually I infer something, I find out later 60% of the time it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because I go by the, that's the root thing of a hoo-hoo. I don't know. It's not iotose.
Seems like a state of something.
Yeah, it seems like but I can't, but there's nothing from the spelling that makes me, is it bored? Is it happy? Is it sad?
Okay. Is there any
context?
Is there another adjective you would like to assign me that you understand then?
I'm just saying what I feel is that I'm paying it forward.
Ah, thank you.
You know, because I'm basically putting the
Thank you, word a day calendar with the definitions ripped off.
Hey, I wish you could. Can you hover over me and two finger write me?
And two finger.
Two finger click me.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
What?
Come on, people.
So welcome to the show, everybody.
Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Oh, Jesus
I'm having trouble. I really got slipped up in Vancouver where I just came from.
Do you need a little tilt down on that?
What you you think so? Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm looking at you. I would. Because I think now, you know, when I go to my my therapist.
Yeah.
I have a very hard time looking at her in the eyes.
Well, traditionally, you don't. I mean, at least, traditionally, Freudian.
She looks at me. She's not Freudian, but she comes from the analyzing field.
Okay.
And I think in her case, it says something about me, why I don't want to look people in the eye.
Yeah.
So much. God damn it.
You got shifty at the end of that sentence with me, even.
I know, but what was I? Because were we starting into a topic?
It was about looking me in the eye, looking me in the face. I think you were saying it's a good thing to do because at your therapist.
Oh, in Vancouver. Now I got it. See, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Josh.
Yeah.
When I do remember what I meant to say,
it's good.
It's not that good.
No, it's good. I feel
okay. You don't know me as you would say if you had to say, "Are you handy?" Like with the electronic, or just like getting into a car. Oh, we can't get this the back seat thing down. Where would you put me on the scale of being able to do those things? On a 1 to 10. 1 is Gomer Pyle.
Yeah.
And 10 is MacGyver.
Golly.
So I'm used to a specific type of mic stand. And it's like a stand within a stand is what it is.
Right.
And there's a thing in the middle. I don't know what they call that. It's
a cuff.
A cuff. And you loosen that cuff and you pull up the mic stand. Now, if the mic stand doesn't have that, you could do that for 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
And this crowd watched me like the world's stupidest man.
Yeah.
And until finally someone, who was a friend of mine who was at the first table, said, it's one of those, before he said, I remember, oh yeah, it's a hand.
Oh, where you grip it and squeeze it.
Where you grip it and you squeeze it. Okay. I hate it.
But I'm sure you turned it into Buster Keaton-esque.
Oh, you know it. You know it. If all else fails, I can blame the technical.
So
aspect.
Did you have fun at Vancouver?
It was a lot of fun up there because, first of all, I realized I don't know what I got paid, but these are sweet gigs where I go and host 2-3 shows.
Yeah.
But why am I looking at it that way? Shouldn't I?
No, I think you should be happy if it's a good gig, right?
Right.
Are you saying in terms of bang for your actual time buck?
It feels spoiled compared to the old days of the road where you'd work 6 days a week and 3 shows on Friday. It seems like almost like, oh, how can they be paying me? I don't know if I got paid, but something.
Okay,
it's not like I used to get paid.
Right.
You look how come everything I answer, it looks like I'm guilty?
I don't know.
Like, doesn't it
You're
though?
very shifty
You
tonight.
don't care what I got
Yeah.
paid,
No.
but you're going like, I'm have to prove to you that I don't know.
Is it comparable to a good club week, though? Do you think? Is it
It's
more?
more.
Okay,
It's
good.
more.
So then,
Yeah.
then you are getting away with something.
I'm getting away with something. That's right. And I can't let. Now, I have to say.
But you're a brand among the JFL now, so.
Well, the last show was sold out. It was very exciting. And what a show it was. Can I leave and not come back and start again?
No.
What a show it was. Kurt Metzger was on the show.
Nice.
Reggie Watts was on the show.
Nice.
Dulce Sloan.
Nice.
I forget who else.
I've actually seen all three of those people.
Yeah, and the other three people, Chelsea Liu.
Haven't seen her.
And God, you know what the thing is? These kind of questions I'm always terrible at. And when they ask me like on a podcast, what's your 5 favorite comedy albums? You asked me, Andy, what's your 5 favorite comedy albums?
Hey, Andy. I was just thinking out of the blue, really.
I like the way you make it seem new.
What are your favorite 5 comedy albums?
Mitch Hedberg. Should I say Lenny Bruce? I don't know if I should say Lenny Bruce, but I like the album.
All right, but then you got to back it up in some way, maybe.
Carnegie Hall, and then it's Maria Bamford. I mean, why are you? It doesn't. It makes my head scream.
Right.
But do you have that same problem I have? If they go, name me your 5 favorite flowers, and all of a sudden you freeze.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that game.
Yeah. Do we supposed to carry a cheat sheet for who we like in life?
Exactly.
But those are the questions that isn't it the list? Have we missed the list generation?
I don't know. You were on Letterman, so.
Oh, that's true. But no, it was cold in Vancouver too. Very cold.
Yeah.
And the first day I went to get pot, and this happens a lot sometimes when you're downtown. The GPS is just wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you, don't even try. It just gives you wrong. It just starts struggling to give you directions. It just keeps giving you circular directions.
Okay.
So I walked for like an hour and I went to the place that wasn't open.
Ah.
But then the second day, boom, pre-rolls. I almost did Brody. You got it. That would be Brody Stevens.
Yeah.
You got it.
So were you up there when the Brody thing happened?
Yeah, very sad. Did you know him? Know him pretty well?
No, I didn't know him at all. I met him once, I think.
Wow, I loved him.
I've been in rooms with him,
Yes.
but I did not know him.
Did he make you laugh?
Yeah, I thought he was funny.
Yeah. He to me, like I tweeted one of his jokes that to me cracked me up where during the financial crisis when he said, I'm trying to cut back. I stopped having the LA Weekly delivered. So he had
Right.
a lot of jokes. He had a lot of jokes like that. They were like, he reminds me a little of Todd Glass that way, and a couple of other comics that way. But
A little bit of you, too, in his niche.
Oh, yeah.
In his sort of beloved comic niche.
and self-deprecating too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And career-based self-deprecation.
I was, and yeah, because he was the one movie I wasn't in. I guess he wasn't in one of the Hangover movies. Did not do $1 billion. So that was extremely sad because he had struggled with mental things, and a few years ago he went through like a thing.
Right.
And he was very good friends with Zach, and he went. They had to get him. So I don't even know these words. 5150. They had to he didn't want to go in for help.
Yeah.
But he had gone off his meds, and he thought it was a good idea, but it was not a good idea.
Right.
And then I don't know, but I haven't been as much in touch with him the last couple of years.
Yeah.
To know what was going on, but people said that the night before he was happy, and it's just a weird. I know he had bipolar, and I know that he struggled with what to do about it.
Right. Yeah, he seemed like he was quite open about that.
Yeah, but I think he may have done some freelancing I'm going to go off the medicine. I'm going to go back on the medicine.
Right.
And I don't know.
That's dangerous.
It's dangerous. And I don't know. I do not know exactly what happened, but some people, I'm not, this is not this is not the show of record, is it?
No, it's not.
So some people said that he may have been on a new medication after going off medication. And it's one of those things where it can have the opposite effect on you when you're first coming onto it, like it'll enhance the negative, or make you feel less threatened by the negative feelings or whatever the thing was. So that's what they're thinking. Maybe that's what it was, that he was having a bad reaction to that, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
You know? I didn't mean to say that at the beginning. But it was a very weird thing because I've said this to you before. Like, I really don't know how to react. I react so strange. It's not that I react so strangely when people, I'm told that people have died, but it's that I guess that I think I'm in a movie where people are, or I'm on trial every time someone tells me.
Right.
And I'm all of a sudden conscious of how I'm reacting. And then sometimes when I first hear the news, like with Brody, I just like, I didn't react at all. I just, you had that kind of like.
I call that dramatic correctness.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like
people,
how you should.
I mean, people react to things differently, but I think people do have that sense of being dramatically correct about those sorts of things, and so I'm sure there was plenty of show, morning show ponies up in Vancouver too,
What do you mean? What was that?
mean, people who were being very visibly distraught.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It was a weird thing. It was more like this tonight. There were a couple of people who weren't, the opposite of that. They were absolutely, like Natasha Leggero seemed very affected by it. Just people, it just kind of like hit people at different times too.
Right. It's a weird, I don't know. I mean, it's always been a part of the landscape.
Yeah.
In comedy, we've lost people all along the way, it feels like. Good friends we've had, good friends we've lost along the way. It's Bob Marley.
What song is that?
No Woman, No Cry.
He's one of my favorite artists, and I didn't recognize the song.
Well, that's okay. It's not one of his big ones, except it's one of his biggest.
That's so bad. It's slam on slam time. I feel bad. I forgot that was it. It was your version of it that threw me off.
I might have thrown in some Wyclef Jean version in there too.
True.
So yeah, so it, like when I saw his name trending the other day, I didn't really wonder why, I think.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's just from his sort of public stuff, but
it's been a long time though that.
Yeah.
It was a long time since he had I don't think except for that one time has he ever had a break like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Most of what I know about him has come in the last few days, honestly.
Right.
I just sort of knew him as a figure and fixture,
Well, people like me and like anybody, it's like I've told you this before. I go into a museum, I see a art show, I look at a painting. All I look at first is how long the painter lived.
Right.
Like, he lived okay.
Right.
I've been doing that since I was 7 years old. So it's like there is that part of me that's how can we go over it again and again and again to see what he could have done to avoid it, or there is that fascination with it. And I don't mean like a fascination like a morbid fascination, although I do kind of always very curious when you don't know how someone died exactly.
Right.
What happened, it's just, your mind can't stop thinking about it. In this case, I guess.
Right. Suicide's always weird, because I always feel like it's someone's right.
Yeah.
But I also rarely feel like it's right,
Right. Well, like Philip Seymour Hoffman, it was so sad. And I always feel like when people people got mad at Philip Seymour Hoffman, it's like, if getting mad at him would have stopped him from doing heroin, right. He would have stopped a long time ago.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like was sitting there going, I have these kids and I have this.
Well, one of my best buddies, did it with alcohol and, within a year of having a baby, and it's just like, if that can't stop you, what is my influence going to do? I tried,
Yeah.
But, I don't think I'm more powerful than addiction, And clearly his wife and baby weren't, it's like all these things. You can't, unless someone wants to stop or is willing to go through what it takes to stop, you can't stop them.
Well,
which is off the topic with Brody, but
no. And the thing is like, but I do believe in that thing, like, where there's life, there's hope, because the other way of seeing it is, I also don't like to see it where people go, he was bound. bound to end up that way, because I think that's only true when it ends that way.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was predestined or anything. Like I said,
Right.
I wasn't surprised.
Exactly.
But I'm not surprised when...
People make it.
Huh?
I don't know. This thing of me finishing
it's
thoughts,
really,
it's so fucking annoying. I hate myself. I hate myself for it. It slows down everything. It's if it was right, if I was Kreskin or something. I always guess wrong. Now you probably don't even remember what you were going to say about it. Because I had to jump in with a stupid theory of it.
Your self-flogging monologue.
The other thing is I have to always tell people if they say somebody, I know who they're talking about, the artist. Like, oh, yeah, sure, I know Gerhard Richter. Why am I so excited about that?
Yeah, it's insecurity.
It is insecurity. But it's the needy kind of stuff that's not sexy.
Right. So, yeah, no, I don't remember what I was going to say.
No, come on.
No,
God
I really don't.
Damn it.
I totally am completely lost.
I was completing...
It was about suicide, so we could move on anyway.
I was completing the thought of you think you know what the person could have done, or you think... And so you were saying it makes you feel... You're telling me how suicide makes you feel. And I jumped in because it's so important that I tell you before you say it, because that's so much better. It's like Lennon and Lennon. Ooh, that was the cutest. That was absolutely... This is the greatest show in the world. I get to do a podcast, and I get to hug doggies. I mean, there is no downside, except for when I come over and I'm not into it, or it looks like I'm on the edge of losing my temper, and then I look for something to fight about, or every 5 minutes I give you a look like, how much longer is this going to go? That type of thing.
Right.
But this
is
sweet.
right in the pocket.
This is sweet. It's in my wheelhouse.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, the suicide thing, we talked about suicide.
So you did 3 shows.
Yeah, I hosted 3 shows, and then I did another show. And Todd Glass's I did Todd Glass's podcast.
Yeah.
He did a live thing of that, and that was like, I enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. I can't speak for everybody else.
Right. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I love him so much, and what I love about Todd Glass is his obsession with making, like, he hates horrible lighting.
Right.
He doesn't like to go to parties where there's glare. So whether it's a party, whether it's a show, he is adjusting the lights. He's changing the music.
Right.
I've never seen anybody, and you can't argue with it. He's into it.
Right. No, I mean, the one show I ever did with him, he was going on about that. So.
Absolutely.
Actually, there was 2. I did a weekend with him years and years ago where he passive aggressively mispronounced my name each show.
Well, you say that, but I have done the exact same thing to the point with Steve Scrovan, who's a friend of mine, and he wrote for Raymond. And when I worked with him in Washington, I kept messing up his name, and to the point where there was no excuse for it. But I didn't think it was passive aggressive. I thought it was just like the ultimate nervousness.
I thought the first 2 times weren't, and then the last time I think he went like Weinstein or something.
Right, Weinstein.
Like, yeah.
Well, you can always tell when people are introducing you how excited they are about introducing you.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. So no, I mean, it could have actually just, it's incorrect to me to say passive aggressively. It might have been just aggressively, but literally 20 some years ago. So,
man, that's a long time ago. I can't believe I've been around. People say, Andy, well, you know how you are, those things are coming from the AARP, and you know how you wonder, and you say things like, oh, you think I should have that checked? And, I don't know, I'm doing a hack act now. Why should I change?
Right.
But I am getting older, and I just want to say to people, no matter what you hear about it, it's so great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
I'll say this right now. Except for when you add it up and can predict when I'm going to die, except for that,
right.
I am happier.
Just don't talk to actuaries.
That's the worst job in the fucking world. What do they do? Well, they don't just do that, right?
Well, yeah, pretty much. They calculate the odds of things.
Yeah, so they could do it for a horse race. They could do it for how long you're going to live.
Right.
But mostly
insurance companies.
Yeah, why? And those people get drawn to it. They've got to be. No, they don't. That's not a job you get drawn to. That's a job you
well, if you're a
escape to.
math person, then yeah, there's not that, there's options, and that's one of them.
Well, for a second, I thought you were going to go, there's not that many options. And my friend, isn't it the whole underpinning of the universe somehow based on math in certain ways?
Right, but try to make a living.
You know what? They say mathematicians are the second highest paid field.
Really? You want to go on with that?
No, I'm not good at improv, as you know.
No, and I don't.
No, and I prefer that we don't do the same. And I prefer that if we haven't prepared any comedy about the subject, that we work on our own time.
Speaking of improv, I had lunch today with Gruber and the head of the Second City the Harold Ramis Film School, who we're going to speak to in a couple of weeks.
Oh.
That was fun.
Yeah. So what you guys, what happened?
We had lunch. He's, mostly it was just sort of a meet and greet. He's, his name's Trevor Albert, and he produced a bunch of Ramis's movies, including Groundhog Day and Multiplicity and Stuart Saves His Family. And
Harold Ramis is no longer alive.
correct.
He died way too young then.
Yes, he did.
Wow. Again, that's all the thing I focused on. Who is of the person that you're talking about? What do I know about their lifespan?
Right.
And so now, Gruber's here how long?
I think he goes back tomorrow, and then he's coming back, and he's in and out. But we're flying to Chicago together.
Oh, wait a second. This is not the week you're going.
I'm going to Minneapolis tomorrow with Pete
Lee.
2 weeks, I'm going to Chicago.
So you have well, how about next week?
Then 2 weeks after that, I'm going with Segura on the road.
Well, how about
And then
that?
2 weeks after that, I'm going to Minneapolis.
Well, let me ask you this, young man. How are we going? How is the assembling the material for the album going?
It'll be much better this week once I get to a hotel room and and out of my
and not to your usual
shitstorm of stuff to do.
Not the usual hotel room.
No, staying.
You're moving on up.
I am, and I'm looking forward to that too, and having a bar and a restaurant and things in the hotel.
Oh my God! I can only imagine. Well, they do have a microwave at our favorite place,
yes, and
they have many choices.
Yes.
Is it in the same general area?
Yeah, same general area.
God, the thing about it is, unfortunately for you, not unfortunately, you always get the "I'm going home" feeling, which is good and bad. But I always get the looking forward to go to Minneapolis feeling.
Yeah,
it's never gotten old for me.
Yeah, I love it there still. It honestly doesn't really feel like home anymore.
Yeah,
this feels more like home.
Oh, right, that makes sense to me.
Especially since I've stayed in hotels there for the last 13 years or something. So Acme feels like home more than Minneapolis feels like home.
You don't have to say that just because you and Louis are tight.
Yeah, I do. I just got to keep that's
This is my least favorite character.
When you have one in, you nurture it.
This is my least favorite character. The guy who questions your
sincerity.
Yes, character. I think it's the wise ass guy. It's more than just that. It's my wise ass snarky guy.
Yeah.
There's only so limited to how that character. It's like when you get done washing your car, you want to wash mine. There's only so much in that vein of comedy you can do.
Yeah, I think
maybe I'm just down on comedy right now.
Yeah, you think?
I watched the Oscars.
Yeah.
The Academy Awards all the way through.
Yeah.
Not when they first.
What's your take?
What? That's interesting.
What's your hot take on the Oscars?
That's interesting. You should ask me at Oscars, hashtag at Oscars Live. I had a lot of takes on it. I actually, here's what I would have said that I think you have to have a whole, for it to be an actual show, that's a show that you want to see.
Right.
And that it may still, nobody wants to see it.
Right.
But you have to have a great host. Okay? And the great host, that's one way to do it.
Right.
You have to have a great host. If you're not going to have a great host, then I was actually more open to this process once it started because they started with Queen.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Sure.
And he's doing
you were pleased with that?
I was, only because I'm easily amused. And who was the guy playing Freddie Mercury?
That was I can't think of his name. It'll come to me in a moment, but he was an American Idol singer.
So Okay, I didn't know who
But
he was.
he's been singing with them for several years now.
Oh, okay. I loved Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
I loved them. I thought I wanted to be right in the middle of their menage a trois.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take the third verse. Sha-sha-sha-la-la-la-la-lo. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-lo. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-lo. La-la-la-lo.
I read today that their chemistry is actually doing a tour.
That's a great joke. That's a great joke. Did you tweet that last night?
I did not tweet that.
That is such a great tweet.
Oh, thank you.
Andy Levy texted me. He goes, "Have you ever heard this? Is comedy? Comedy is tragedy plus jokes."
Yes, I did see him do that.
And I said, "I never heard it. I think it's great." So, but are you going to forget what you just said? What did you just say? A joke.
I said their chemistry is going on today.
Did you just think about it in this moment?
No, I thought of it today, but not while I was near a tweet machine.
Their chemistry. So here's what I realized. If they want to cut the show down, they should cut down the most horrible part of that show is the lengthy introductions to each topic.
Right.
You're not focusing on them. Sound editing is like splashing of color and the world. So they're not listening. Better to do a 2 or 3 word thing. I mean, if it's a joke thing, do it like Maya Rudolph and that. But if you're going to give information, make it short. I bet they could cut out an hour or a little bit less.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was somewhere in between presentational and not last night. It felt like, I don't like the Oscars. I watched most of it, but I don't.
Well, they're almost always
really
disappointing.
Well, it's just, yeah. I mean, it's ultimately it's an awards banquet for someone's job that isn't yours, And it felt more like that actually last night, which in some ways was cool because it felt more like it felt more like it was taking place in the room rather than a televised presentational thing.
Right.
But that also brought along with it like, some attempt to entertain me wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah. Well, they've done such weird things. Like one year with the songs, they just made a medley of the songs.
Yeah.
But they've been doing the songs every year. All the songs.
I think so. I think they always do.
Every song in that, almost every song sounds like a song that someone writes for a movie.
Yeah.
To make a hit.
Right. That's where I did not stay. I watched the Bradley Cooper Gaga song, but I didn't watch most of the songs.
Did you enjoy that?
I mean,
you can be honest with me.
I enjoyed seeing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it was interesting to watch them do it.
Yes,
but I wasn't like enthralled.
I think the song is great.
Yeah, it's a good song. Yeah, but it's still a pop star playing a popular song on TV.
Yeah, but to me, better that than this Mary Poppins thing with the Mary Poppins and I'm back again. Hula hoo hoo ha ha ha. I'm Mary Poppins and I'm back again.
I brought more sugar. You got medicine?
Oh my God. I gotta tell you. But the highlight of the show, okay, but the thing I wanted to talk to you about.
You remember we have mics.
I forgot.
You remember we have mics here, right?
I completely forgot. Here's what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened to me, Josh. I know that normally that's not a great thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I laugh really hard, I hyperventilate.
Yeah.
Which to me makes me feel high.
Okay.
Like I feel like it's a spiritual thing. And of course, then an atheist comes by and says, that's caused by the amount of suction in your thing, and that's all it is. So I got, I hate atheists, I've decided. I'm an atheist. Yeah, or you mean I hate atheists? Well, I'm like an atheist. Yeah, my mom's a Quaker saying. So when I hyperventilated and I came back,
yeah,
I really did forget where I was.
That.
Like I knew I was kind of on a podcast, but I had no idea that I needed to be near a mic.
Gotcha. Well, welcome back.
That Mary Poppins song sucked. I know Diane Warren. You know that name?
Sure.
Okay, but that her stuff sounds similar to, I don't know, it just sounds, if I hear Diane Warren, I'm expecting a kind of a song, and maybe that's my own prejudice.
Yeah. No, you're listening for a adult contemporary power ballad.
And that Jennifer Hudson song, which is what that was, it was boring to me.
Yeah.
I like her. I don't want her to be penalized.
Through. Gotta say, I zipped on through.
Oh, that's right. Did you eventually see the country one?
The country.
Gillian Welch and...
No, I didn't.
Okay. Anyway, the one thing I want to talk to you about was Green Book.
Yeah.
Because I know nothing about Green Book.
Right.
But Spike Lee said something...
So I'm diving right in, baby.
But what Spike Lee said was very funny when he said, seems like every time I'm up against a movie where someone's driving somebody, I lose. But the point was that they're both similar type of movies. Driving Miss Daisy was kind of a white person's dream of how they would like black people to be. I know I'm oversimplifying.
Right.
And I know that you can make the argument, no, there's really great things in that movie. I don't remember one thing in that movie. I remember one time he asked her, do you want the seat more up or back? I didn't love the movie. I didn't hate the movie. But there is that movie where there is that point of view where Hollywood's going to show you how the white guy is somehow the hero of the movie.
Right.
So the Viggo Mortensen, as I started to read more and more about this Green Book, it is one of these movies. The family of the guy who it's about hates it like poison.
Right.
And supposedly there's just so many wrong things in the movie. So I thought it was interesting because it wasn't just me like trying to find controversy. There's controversy there.
Right.
Because it was like they took a story and made it into a feel-good story that was about just getting over the differences between each other. And to me, that always means like there's two sides to the slavery thing.
Right.
You know?
Well, Driving Miss Daisy was more a magic black man movie, and this was a magic white man movie. But
that's exactly right. He's a magic black. Oh, because in other words, we don't ever fall in love with her as the hero. He's the hero, right? He's the magic black man.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who is better than the white man.
Right.
And better than all of... Well, I don't want to
Right.
go that far with it, but yeah.
He teaches Miss Daisy to not be racist, basically.
Right, and he doesn't in a certain way he respect her curmudgeon style.
Well, they became friends.
And was it to the point where she gave him all of her money or something like that?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But he took care of her as she declined.
Well, there was that other movie that was also controversial, which was called The Help.
Yes.
Which was also supposed to be written by a white person, I think.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm just saying white people should not be involved with these kind of race movies.
Well, this was the son of the driver guy who was one of the main writers of the movie. Of
Yes.
Green Book. And he claims that the musician said, "Don't talk to my family. You can do this, but wait till I'm dead and don't talk to my family."
Yeah, I don't. How do you check on that?
I don't know.
He also, I guess, I had an Islamophobic tweet or something, and Peter Farrelly. Here's the thing: I didn't get the memo when Peter Farrelly was doing gritty movies about race in America. Didn't he do the thing with myself, and Irene?
Yeah.
You know the argument I'm making here, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't possibly do anything.
Shut it down, Whitey.
How many people were white amongst those producers?
You know, the only reason I can't totally bash on that movie is because Linda Cardellini was in it, and
I love her.
I do too.
And also, the guy who won is a great actor, right? Mahershala Ali. Don't tell me. Don't. Let's get into a thing where I'm mispronouncing black people's names.
We got through Mahershala fine.
Look, Linda Cardellini was in it. I'm a Viggo Mortensen fan.
Yeah.
But did he sound like he was from the Bronx? No.
Not so
I'm
much.
sorry.
Not so much.
Where's Mortensen from? Viggo. He's like from Eastern Europe or something like that, right? No, maybe I'm wrong about that, but he's not from the Bronx.
He's from Lithuania.
Lithuania.
On the dark side of the Balkans.
He's from Lithuania. I'm Stan Schmangy.
And I'm Yashmangi. And we're the Happy Wanderers.
We would be just as happy recording our impressions of the Schmengi brothers
Yes.
into a reel-to-reel.
Yes.
Don't get me started on the reel-to-reel.
Did you watch the movie?
You're not going to believe it. I love you so much. Look how cute Lucky is tonight. First of all, that picture of me and Lucky is creepy in a way.
Yeah, it is.
But why did you send out a creepy shot of me with Lucky?
Because
it doesn't make Lucky look creepy. It doesn't make Lucky look creepy. Lucky looks like
I'm just leaving a paper trail. That's all I'm doing.
Lucky looks like, not that she's crying for help, but that she's close to not liking it. I don't know. You pose it that way.
It's not exactly a consent pose.
Well, I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what to say about it, but it does seem like there's a little bit of that stickiness to it.
You did watch the movie?
No. I just read the articles about it. I will watch the movie, and I haven't seen Black Klansman, which I want to see.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I'm talking about the movie for homework.
Oh, no, I did.
Okay.
I did, except the last 30 seconds of it.
Okay.
Oh, did you really get scared that I hadn't watched it? Because that would be rude.
I didn't get scared.
But that would be rude.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
I don't think I'd be that rude. Why do I think that I am rude? Here's our relationship.
Okay.
I'm a rude person that you're always going to be correcting, and I can only not be a horrible person with your help.
And how do you feel about that?
I feel that I'm kind of a fuck up, but I know that I'm kind of a fuck up, but I think I would have tried to do something like call you at 7 or something like that, or I try to give you a notice, but I did miss literally the last minute of the movie.
Really? Okay.
Do you want to talk about the movie, or should we?
We can.
Okay.
I mean, would you have more Oscar talk?
Let me think. Oscar talk. I did enjoy the Melissa McCarthy thing.
With the rabbits?
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
That was cute.
And I love Maya Rudolph, and I'm not a huge Tina Fey fan, but I do love them when she's with Amy Poehler. I always think they're very funny.
Yeah.
So that segment was good. And then I can't think of. I felt very bad during the in memoriam. I actually had this thought during the in memoriam.
Yeah.
That I wish that there were more famous people who had died.
Wow, that's a weird thought.
But you know what I mean? Because you get into the emotional kick of it. So like, and then I want that last one to be like Jerry Lewis or something that really gets you.
Right, and he's just like, the casting director. Oh, God. Oh, what a waste of emotion. Oh.
I'm not coming to it, Josh. Why don't you grow up?
Yeah, I should grow up.
Oh. Do you think just because you pretend to be more mature than me that you are more mature? Or is it... I did like to watch the conductor of the LA Philharmonic. He was a nice touch, that guy.
Yeah.
I know you went to sleep at 10. And I guess that's it. I think it was okay. I think that something's happening with the movies when there's just too many movies. Oh, but ultimately, I think your point, and it's well taken, and is who the fuck cares one way or the other.
There's a bit of that going on for me.
But it's the only award show that has any legitimacy to it, right?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Because the Grammys, I know you told me.
Well, as I tweeted last night, I haven't seen any of these movies, so I might as well be watching the Tonys.
Yeah. Stop watching. But the Oscars still has, I don't know, I'll watch it every year till I die.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's on Sunday night has a good shot. Because it's just never going to be competing with much. I
got in trouble again last night on Twitter.
What'd you do?
Whiskey Cavalier.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No.
I said the name. I couldn't believe you could name something Whiskey Cavalier.
Yeah.
So I said, hopefully it doesn't suck as much as the name. And then I find out I'm friends with the guy who created it, Joey Lawrence.
Yeah.
Or Bill Lawrence. Bill Lawrence fired up. And so he answered me, damn it, Andy. But I think he's made enough money that he has a good attitude towards my put downs. But doesn't that, I just thought that's such, like, what is that? Why Whiskey Cavalier? Why not?
Did you watch any of it?
Mm-mm.
Do you know what it's about?
No. No, I didn't like the preview. The preview creeped me out.
Okay.
Did you like it?
I didn't see it.
The preview, though.
I know. I skipped everything. I just went through to see one things.
Andy, when I told you before that I hadn't watched any of it, it didn't mean that I stayed for the commercials and for the teasers.
Yeah.
I guess my point was that it looks like these networks are so desperate when they're doing programming. I can't think of, when was the last time a network not cable, not Netflix, not something else, but a network, ABC, CBS, NBC came up with a great original show. Comedy show.
Comedy show?
Yeah.
I don't know. Arrested Development, maybe?
How about drama?
Good Place, people like, it seems like.
Oh, okay. I know. I'm not familiar with everything.
Yeah.
The Good Place.
I'm just spitballing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any allegiance to any of these shows, but I'm just saying things I've heard on Twitter mostly.
But it seems to me like how about 1 hour dramas? I can't think of one. I mean, I know you told me stick with NCIS, Brooklyn.
Right. You know me. I'm always pushing people towards murder. I don't know what the good dramas are, and if there are. People were into that Manifest for a minute, it seemed like. But it just seemed like a bad Lost knockoff.
Yeah, and you can see it coming from a million miles away. The networks, the problem with networks, the big networks, I don't know why I think we're doing a show like Peter Guber, but the big networks, seems to be maybe the last place where they'll take any risks. On like original programming, but I might be wrong. Maybe there's a Seinfeld around the corner.
Because the people who are still there are like not risk takers.
That's true. Who's still there? I don't think anyone's left.
Well, not young people.
Right. I see. Maybe this is our chance to do a Murder, She Wrote, a comedy, a funny Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, I said, with Andy Kindler.
Murder, I heard.
Did someone say murder? With Andy Kindler.
I'm Oaks. Sherman Oaks.
I like, did someone say murder?
Did someone say murder? Did someone say murder? You think people could believe that I'd ever crack something, though, or solve something?
They believe you'd crack.
You think they'd see me like Monk, like affectionately with my OCD?
Maybe.
But not the crime-solving abilities of Monk.
No. If you can just find out if food is spicy or not.
Did someone say murder? This week on, did someone say murder?
Yes.
Did someone? The other thing I'd like to do is a behind the scenes at Tony and Tina's wedding type of thing.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. You told me you love these shows. You go out with your wife to those places where you escape. What is it how do I escape from this?
Escape rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sound is what kind of a person are you that you'd even buy into that? What's wrong with your life? That you could go put on a mask and stay at home and chase your wife around.
Here's $20. Give me a problem.
That's it. That's it. Oh, I've lost interest in everything. Talk to me. Try and cheer me up. Right. Oh, you know what? This isn't getting me any more interested. Why don't you shut off my oxygen in the room? Right. Let's raise the stakes because I want to feel something.
Right. I'm so dead inside. Nobody. That is a craze. It's not even a craze. All right, let's talk. I say let's go ahead and talk. Unless you have something more about the Oscars or award shows. No, I'm just sort of had a stressy day today. Just because. What happened? Just nothing. I just had a ton of shit to do and got some of it done, but I'm leaving town at 6 a.m., so it's like kind of ran out of day. So did you feel like, God damn it, if Andy wasn't coming over now, I would have gotten so much more done? I didn't personalize it that much. Mm-hmm. It was more like, God damn it, if I didn't have a podcast to do right now. Ah. Don't you see me as, I'm involved in the podcast weekly. I do, but I didn't want to blame you. I didn't want to transfer the resentment onto you. Were there task? Were there errands that you needed to run that I could do for you when you're out of town? Is that an option? Not really. I was hoping, it's entertainment, showbiz. Okay. Then yes. No, I would do so. Of course I would do something for you. I need you to do an audition for me. I'm ready to go. I got my car smogged today. At our place? Yes, I guess so. Yes. I love that. I love that place. I loved it because they passed me. I know. Something fishy going on. No. So you have a new car, though. So no, I don't really. But it's a 2013, I bet. Nope. 2015. No.
This is the worst game we've
It's a
played
bad
on the
game.
show.
Did you watch the Anderson tapes?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about that. What did you think of that movie?
Well, first of all, as you know, I don't make jokes about being homophobic. No, I do make jokes about being homophobic.
Right.
But I did spend half the movie thinking how attractive Sean Connery was. He's pretty attractive, I kept saying. But then I said to myself, I'm not that attracted to him. I couldn't put myself in a position. I'm not saying that I'm 100% straight, as this slideshow from summer camp will prove. I think I'm stealing "Don't Quit Your Day Jobs" material, but I could tell that he was handsome in a way that nobody else is. So that was kind of distracting to me.
Really?
But I kind of liked it. But I don't know what it adds up to. I liked a lot of scenes. Sometimes I felt like it was trying to be funny, and sometimes it was funny.
Yeah, I thought tonally it was kind of a mess.
Yeah, because sometimes it was the comedy parts of it would hit so infrequently.
They were clumsy and
They were that you couldn't.
Yeah, and they stopped the movie at times.
Yeah,
Like, there was like a scene where someone calls a switchboard, and there's like a minute and a half of shtick between two operators.
right.
It's like, really?
And a lot of the old guy at the front desk.
Yeah, that wasn't paying off.
What were we supposed to learn from him? I think I missed something.
That it was the same thing you were supposed to learn from Brooks in Shawshank Redemption. That some people they become institutionalized and they need to go back in.
Ah, okay. Well, and then so I was thinking, how handsome is that Mel Ferrar, Sean Connery? And then I said,
Mel Ferrar.
Then I kept saying, Alan King. Alan King's in the movie.
Yeah.
There's Alan King.
All right.
And then I started to think about how miserable. I guess I've heard he wasn't a happy guy.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, why wasn't he happy? This is a good movie. He's doing the nice thing. Yeah. What do you think of Alan King's acting? Was it hard to you?
It was bad acting in this movie. I've seen him better, but he's always just doing Alan King, But this was really just like his complete stand-up rhythm.
Yes.
And nothing else.
He was trying to use his stand-up rhythm and to sound more like a gangster.
Right.
And it didn't
pay off, no. I didn't think it was a very good movie. I really didn't. I thought, especially like in light of The Conversation, which was touching on a lot of the same stuff here of surveillance and
did we see we saw The Conversation, right?
Yes, we did.
Because I keep thinking there's no Nazis. There were no Nazis. Did I miss the Nazis?
There was no Nazis, no. There was no Nazis in either movie.
Now I feel like if I see that Boys from Brazil or that movie where I really want to see them talking about Nazis, I'm going to be let down just because I've been waiting for it so long.
We've been, For some reason, this got teased as Nazi related in some way.
Right.
Not at all. No Nazis. It wasn't good. I didn't think it wasn't bad, but it was clumsy. It was, I thought, have it, like I said, in comparison to The Conversation, which was like very specific about the technology and,
yes.
and making you believe that it was doing what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
This was like Star Trek bad fakery at times.
Yeah, the way the lady, the one I thought was pretty funny was the lady with the pen microphone 30 yards away from
right. And there's a time when the guy enters something into a computer and he presses, just sort of random buttons on a machine and out comes this not computer card from it, and it was just like, it was very like almost like a Sid and Marty Krofft computer almost. So that bothered me, and it bothered me that anytime technology was at work, they were using bad analog synthesizer sounds.
What was I don't know if I liked the soundtrack with the constant
really annoying. Really annoying. Yeah. But it was meant to be high tech sounding. Those were new sounds at that time.
It was like a jazzy thing and one thing that was okay.
I barely noticed the music because I was so annoyed by the sound effects.
Meow. Bunka bunka bunka.
And I didn't quite get what they were saying, except for it's a new Sean Connery comes out of prison after 10 years at the beginning of the movie, and I guess what we're supposed to believe is it's such a new high tech world that you can't get away with anything anymore. But, you know, it had that, it was really trying to showcase this whole surveillance thing. This is like 1971 or whatever it was. But it didn't have a point of view, you know? It was like you were watching, as he's planning this caper, you're watching him be surveilled. So you know it's doomed from the beginning.
You know early on
in
that
some way, you know.
But they don't even play with. I thought they didn't even play with that interestingly.
No, because there was no character leading up the surveillance, really.
Yeah.
You know, there was no cat to the mouse.
You just showed people
It was
being
just
surprised.
the man, kind of, you know.
Yeah. It looked like, now I don't want to say this, but it looked like
dress pants.
What's that?
Dress
they
pants.
look like dress pods. They look like, no, they look like, it looked like it was reminiscent of many, because I'm old enough to have experienced those movies the first time through.
Yeah.
So it actually got me going in certain places because it reminded me, like, the cinematography was kind of, I thought, good. I mean, I liked the way it was shot.
It wasn't poorly put together. It was choices. It was actual choices that were made that bothered me, you know.
Yes.
I thought, you know, in terms of craft of making a movie, it was okay. It told the story. It wasn't a good story. That was probably, you know. And virtually every character was really underdeveloped, you know.
Do we know who wrote the?
I don't know who wrote this. It was based on a book, but Connery was the only character that had any character development, and even that was.
I mean, Diane Cannon was trying, right?
Not really. They didn't write anything for her. She's just a hooker with a heart of lead.
Yeah, so I didn't know anything. And, like, you kept thinking that would be something like a sex scene from the 60s or, I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but I would have gone for anything that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it had that flavor of the 70s ugly New York movies, you know?
Yeah.
Which is what I call them now, you know, Serpico and the like.
It had the taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 without any drama at all.
Yeah, because there was, like, again, there was no cat to the mouse, you know?
Yeah. Who to root for? Who do you root? Well, you always root for Sean Connery.
You had to root for Sean Connery, but you didn't really. It wasn't a good enough caper, you know, because it was like he went to his girlfriend's apartment, and it was like, "Hey, I could rob this apartment." It wasn't like he looked around for jobs to do. It was just like first place he went, I could rob this place.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly top cappy. Anybody?
And that's the whole thing is this big heist movie about them knocking off this apartment, Upper East Side apartment building. And it's not compelling, really.
You need the Mission Impossible kind of feel for that.
It wasn't a good enough caper to watch each step of it the way they did it, you know?
No. And when he shot the guy in the thing, I wasn't invested in anybody in the movie.
No, it wasn't highly investing. And I didn't think Sean Connery was even particularly good looking in it.
Oh, you know what? Now that you say that, this is the thing I think I
thought he was
with.
Between Sean Connery's sexy periods there.
You're absolutely right.
I thought he was between James Bond, Sean Connery, and The Untouchables, Sean Connery.
The sexiest, when they said the sexiest man alive, that was during the earlier James, but there was nobody handsomer then. I'm trying to think, because I looked at him and I go, he's really good looking, but then I did think, I started to see some knots in the ceiling, some seams in the Connery. I don't know. I don't know what I expected. He couldn't rescue the movie.
He didn't rescue the movie, no. No, he really didn't. It wasn't, there wasn't enough for him to play, really.
There were two things that I enjoyed from the movie, that there's a scene where it says Chemex in the background.
Yeah.
And you know that I use a Chemex as one of my coffee-making devices.
Really?
I'll fucking kill you. Could you see it?
You're trying somehow, anyway.
And they had a ham radio operator.
Yes.
And my brother-in-law operates ham radio, so I thought that was an interesting...
You know what killed ham radios?
What's that?
TV dinners.
Okay, Michael. Tell me what time the cheese starts. Too long? First thing?
A little bit.
Oh my, that's not cream corn.
So a couple people were very enthusiastic about this movie. I can't really recommend it.
Who was the person who recommended it to you?
I can't remember.
Like it was the second coming of...
A couple people were very enthusiastic when they thought we were talking about it. So
now here's the thing. I'm trying to think of what people would think. When I was watching, I was thinking... There's some banter in there. Maybe they thought we'd like the banter.
It was just, I mean, and the Martin Balsam gay character was like almost Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's offensive.
I kept waiting for that to turn.
No, it never turned.
They did one. They called him a sexual deviant.
One did, yeah.
Yeah, which is a malapropism, right? Not he's deviant, or is it deviant? Deviant. So he said deviant. I thought like that was the joke.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think he was.
But they seem to enjoy using the word fag way more than they should have.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any. Were all movies portraying gay people in a horrible way then?
It wasn't good.
No, they couldn't have been. I mean,
but most movies weren't putting that fine a point on it.
Yes.
You know.
They made him.
Midnight Cowboy did a couple years before that, but it wasn't like you wouldn't see it in studio movies that often.
And well, then I don't understand what we were supposed to, except that they made, except you feel horrified because it's a different time period. You can't figure out why they're calling him a fag.
Right.
But then there's that one building apartment where he goes in and the guy's someone opens the door who's very flamboyant. And
right.
What are we supposed to learn from that?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know if they thought they were being liberal about it.
That's the thing. They didn't.
They might have been. They might have thought that they were being.
Oh, just by showing it, admitting there are gay people.
Yeah, and giving him a role in the movie, and but really it was just like
a role to
a gay guy, a black guy, a gangster, and everyone had one trait, Well,
what was Sean Connery? He's British.
Tough. He was tough.
And they could have been. They weren't. I mean, she's sexy and he's sexy, but come on, let's mix it up. So I say, what's next week?
I don't know. Do you want to do Boys from Brazil?
I think we should probably do Boys from Brazil.
We've talked about it. I'm not even saying it's a great movie, but we should do it.
I want Nazis.
Okay, that's it. I know there's Hitler content in that.
And also, isn't Sir Laurence Olivier another Nazi in it? No.
Isn't that? I think it's Gregory Peck.
Is it? Oh, it's not. Is it Donald Sutherland? No, it's this. Oh, is it this guy? No, it's not. What a wonderful thing it is to be a friend of mine. Is it the movie where he says, put him back in the hole? What are we doing for our break today?
Well, since I didn't get to thinking about it, we could do there's another piece of your stand-up.
Have you had any reaction to the stand-up?
I don't know, but people seem, any reaction we've had to the stand-up has been positive.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a ton of it, but several people have said, I like the stand-up.
I don't know what I'm expecting. They go, whoa, I didn't know those stand-ups did stand-up. But we got a great thumbs up from Jen Kirkman today.
That was nice.
That's the Jen Kirkman bump.
Yes. So do you want to do that? You want to listen to more of you?
I guess so. That sounds good.
All right, we'll do that. This is from that same set.
I can't wait. At the They mentioned Lubitsch in the movie. I don't remember why. Lubitsch said, or am I mixing up two movies?
I think you might be mixing. Yeah.
And we'll be back. And Susan, my lovely wife. I don't know why you got into these.
I think they mentioned it. It might have been mentioned in the Oscars last night. Someone made some reference about Billy Wilder having the sign up, and then.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what Billy Wilder's quote was.
It was, "What would Lubitsch do?" He had that. It was Alfonso Cuarón.
Right.
Or is it Alfonso?
I think it is.
Talking about how his version of that was, what would Mexican director
right
do? Yeah.
And then there was a great quote from William Goldman that I can't remember either.
Right.
It was that William Goldman was very funny.
He was very quotey.
Very quotable. And Susan wanted to know, what do we do during the break? And I said, at first I didn't tell her that it's not we don't really take a long break.
Right.
We just take a few minutes. But I said, like sit around. All right, I'd like to put a bullet through my head, and I'd like you to do it.
Okay.
And we'll be
Fair
back.
Enough.
We'll be back after this
ready.
break with more of Thought Spiral with Andy Kindler.
Here's Funny Andy.
I suffer from, from OCD. People don't even care about it. Obsessive compulsive disorder. People go, that's some kind of a hip Richard Lewis jazz disease. No, it's a real suffering type of disease. Where you think, here's how it started for me. If you want to hear how it started, I will tell you, regardless of whether you want to hear. In my 20s, you'd think I'd have better delivery after 30 years. In my 20s, My actions involve self-deprecation. So in my 20s, I would be driving down the street, and I thought I hit a pebble. I go, was that a pebble, or was that a tiny person I just hit? Have I killed a person in my car? Well, let me drive around the block and check it again. No, maybe they crawled off into the bushes. Maybe I should go home and call the police and see if anybody reported a small pebble child being killed. And then I thought I started. It's not as funny as it sounds. I thought I started a fire in Yosemite once because I had smoked a joint there, and I checked the papers. This is before the internet. I checked the papers every day for 3 weeks just to see if there was a fire started and it was my fault. And because the thing is, what it is, you have these intrusive thoughts. You don't want to have them. You can't stop having them. And then you can't stop thinking about them. For example, until recently, I thought there was a 50-50 chance that I might be the Golden State Killer. I didn't know. Maybe I'm a sleep murderer. I don't know. He started in Sacramento. I started in Sacramento. Maybe I blocked it out. Because it's not even like... if someone dies, like my wife or something, don't say, hey, I remember that pity thing. No. There's no... I wish a Dateline would open up with, everybody hated Angela. Her poetry was terrible. Who wouldn't have wanted her dead? It was so hard because we all wanted to kill her. Even people who hadn't killed her had hit her a couple of times. I have the Daylines and they go, we never locked that door in Swishabush, Wisconsin. There was no crime. You're an idiot. You deserve to have been murdered. Did you say you didn't lock your door? I hope your whole family got murdered. Didn't lock the door. Well, it's a small town. We didn't. Why doesn't it? You have 2 people to cause a murder. Okay? In a 2-people town, that one person better bolt their door because McCoy is coming over or something like that. I haven't prepared this bit that well. Hence the spots that don't work and the illusion to murder.
We didn't play that last week, did we?
No, different clip.
Wow. Well,
same show, different clip.
I
think I think the OCD bit is, it's at about 60% right now. I think I think the hard part is the setup. I think describing. Like, I think you need to do something more than, say a bump. If I hit a bump in the road.
Right. Was that a...
Yeah.
Yes. That'll do it.
You know what I mean? Because then people aren't picturing a pet,
Well, you're absolutely right. And the thing is that...
Like, you have to make it sound mundane. Like, you wouldn't notice running over a pebble. So, But
yes.
if I hit a bump in the road, it's something... I think there's also something to be like, I'm guilty no matter what.
Right.
No matter, so it could well be for a reason.
Yes, yeah.
All I know is I feel guilty. It could be for a reason.
It could be for a reason.
Something, I don't know. I just think you need to set the table a little better because for a while I think the Golden State Killer thing is funny.
Right.
But I think you need to set your mindset up. You need to describe it a little better.
I agree with you. And in fact, the reason why I like this tape from a painful point of view is I can tell that I'm struggling with the bit, which is to me fun in a way because
it feels
really
like you're writing on stage with it still,
Yeah, and it feels like these are the things that I've been ignoring to do, which is just these little things that are really in my life, and that a lot of times what I don't do is explain. I think, they know that I've hit the bump, so I'm really kind of diving into it more. And I did some more of it up in Vancouver, too, where I got more into the meat of the thing.
And I think it's also like, I hit a bump on the road. Within 5 minutes, I'm wondering if that bump was a body.
Right.
Well,
no, it's instantaneous. When I hit something, it's instantaneous. Like, what was that?
No, I'm thinking. That's my favorite.
What was that noise?
I don't know.
No, that's me doing the bit.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't even know I was ever that good at acting.
Oh, I'm wearing headphones, so you might.
What was that noise? Was that a pebble? What Susan used to actually say to me, which actually helped me at some point before I got therapy. I'd say, "What do you think that was?" And she goes, "I think you hit a person." And then it would laugh me out of it.
Right.
Well, folks, but I just did notice, I did notice that a lot of times I will complete the bit once I get the joke out of it, whereas I feel like I miss a lot of stuff that I can dig into. I don't have to, but I can.
Yeah. Well, and it's such a central topic of your life. I mean, that there should be a fair amount, you could write a fair amount of stuff on that topic and it would be very productive.
Yeah, because it would go into, it really is the root of so many problems, so it can be an anchor. I don't mean like anger, like you like my OCD chunk, but just that it's.
Well, but I would like your OCD chunk is the thing.
Yeah.
And I'd like you to develop it because it so much of your act is sort of random and has nothing to do with your life.
Right.
It's just your knee-jerk reactions to things, that are amped up.
Yes.
Like this is an actual real reaction to a real thing. So
yes.
That's interesting to me to see that come from you. And I think it would help just your overall set of giving a sense of giving you another dimension.
And I know, and this is not the thing, like I'm overvalue your own contributions, but people have come up to me and said, first of all, I did have a lot of, like 5 or 6 on the same night, Thought Spiral people came up and said, I really love the show. I really love the show.
Excellent.
And when they come up and say that, they really love the show.
Right.
And this one person said, the OCD stuff made me feel so much better about my OCD. And that really is like the greatest in a way, because I really do feel like when I was experiencing it, I really did feel crazy. I couldn't have, if I was doing stand-up, I wouldn't have thought to do stand-up about it then.
Right.
Because it was just like, I had no idea. So that when you explain it to people and you bring it in, then you do feel, it really makes me feel less crazy.
Right.
I
get that kind of satisfaction with the cancer stuff I do, because people will like, the way people talk about cancer is fucking bullshit if you've had it,
Right. Yeah. And it doesn't have to always be personal, but it's fun.
Yeah. And it's like it's the only bone that all the meat hasn't been stripped off of this day and age too, in some ways,
Also with the OCD stuff.
I don't mean OCD. I just
mean
your personal thing.
Yes.
Is the one thing you can talk about that, is always going to be your personal thing.
Yeah. I was just thinking like the OCD, it's like there's that line of thought from the neurotic Jew to the OCD Jew. I don't know what I'm saying, but I feel I still cannot believe how much I go back to and still enjoy going back to the Jewish well.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm proud of it or not proud of it. I just it still seems to entertain me.
Well, I think you are proud of it.
Yes, but I don't want to. It's like the Aerosmith thing where I do the switch up the band sometimes.
Right.
Does everything have to be where I'm a Jew?
No, I mean you definitely dip your beak in that puddle quite a bit, but it's I don't know. I mean, I think there might be something there too.
Yes.
It's the only part of your identity that isn't really self-loathing in some ways.
Right. Although it does come so much from, like I was thinking today about how, I don't know if you've heard me do this bit where I talk about, when you look back in history, and I'm finding this out in history, it's like everybody basically was anti-Semitic. Everyone was. So it was like, that was the base thing. It was like, how much did they hate the Jews?
Right.
And so it's like, I have a friend who's no longer a friend of mine, and so I'm not afraid of him hearing this, but he said something to me, and it's like one of these things where maybe I misheard what he said, but it definitely got into me.
Yeah.
And it may have not been what he said, but the significance of it is I said, because he's a very smart person about history, and I asked him, why the Jews? Why were they picked on so much? Because we were just talking about different history things. He goes, it's because they displayed so many unpleasant characteristics. So, regardless of how he meant that, I took that in as really how you can feel when you are a member of a minority group that look at the Jew and he's having so much fun, and it's just that's where the idea that you don't want, like I used to want to be Biff.
I would have made him elaborate.
Right. Right. That's the thing. That's part of my thing in general. When I look back at my life, I don't want to be regretful, but like I should have said, well, what are you saying exactly?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you might have ended up still hating him.
Yes, but the fact that he kind of went badoom. It was just like, he got me. You're an obnoxious group of people,
Right.
and everyone knows it. But that feeling that you're obnoxious and that feeling that I wanted to be called Biff. You know, like when I play ball with myself, you know, I would play games in my head for the time I was a little kid, and I'd be like, and Ed Harrison comes up.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. They just sounded, Jones, all these names sounded great to me. No Jewish name sounded. It's not like.
But you didn't hear him.
What's that?
Like, when would you have heard?
That's right. It's all cultural.
Yeah.
It's all cultural.
So all
Those
the names of
sounded
characters,
cool.
all the names of characters on TV, you know, with the exception of like Gladys Kravitz,
Right.
weren't Jewish names. So
Yes.
everyone cool wasn't Jewish. You know,
So it absolutely is a thing where it's all
like
cultural.
presumably Horshack is a Jewish name, but we know Epstein was.
Yeah, and like, you know, when you hear these people like Tony Curtis, we don't know what it would have been if they had been Bernie Schwartz.
Yeah, no, they all buried their Judaism
But-
because it wasn't a selling point throughout any century.
And also, a lot of them named themselves King, Roman King. They almost went like more. I think that made it sound like even less Jewish. Roman.
Right. Although their king is actually a Jewish name.
It is,
Yeah.
right? It is a Jewish name. I'm confused.
Roman, probably not.
Roman, no, because his name was.
But it might have been Romanoff or something.
His name was Kirschenbaum.
Okay.
Alan Kirschenbaum's dad.
Oh, is it?
Alan Kirschenbaum's dad was Freddie Roman.
I did not know that.
And, yeah. But obviously, but as a kid, I didn't know that it just sounded like I loved the way Christian things sound. You know, I wasn't ashamed of being a Jewish person.
Right.
So I never had that shame, but I could be. I could see very closely. And it's tied to not wanting to draw attention to yourself. It's also the belief in the stereo. It's like, I did this joke this last week, which I didn't really develop it the way I wanted to develop it. I was like saying, the point was, well, I guess racism is over now because this Jussie Smollett, he lied about his thing. So how do I know there was even a slavery? I don't know. Right. How do I know it wasn't just some guy who made that up? Because just the whole idea, like that because one person lies, the fact that they're on the news, they go, now, you know, it hurts other people. Well, it shouldn't hurt other people.
Right.
Who are telling the truth. It shouldn't be like you're waiting for the next example of the person's Islamic or whatever. You're waiting for them. I'm always waiting. I hope it's not Islamic because we know what people will start jumping to but the whole idea of it's crazy that you would wait for each individual case and think, and then justify your racism. But that's what made me so mad when people were saying that. Like, yes, maybe he will be making it hard, whatever, but it doesn't. There's plenty of racism. Most of the racism is there. 99% of the racism is not made up.
Right. You know, but I think it was also a gay thing too, and I think, you know, it was there's this thing of you have to believe victims.
True.
And that's not true, I don't think. You know, you
Right.
have to take victims seriously.
Exactly.
You know, you have to acknowledge what they're saying. You have to investigate. You have to take it seriously. You don't have to believe every victim ultimately, you know.
But
you have to take them seriously, and that, you know, that undermines that message, you know. But it's one. I agree with you. It's not fair.
And also, I felt like I felt like the whole thing of like, I think if you're a celebrity, if you could think of like Phil Mickelson got hit in the head, yes, you wouldn't think, your first instinct would not to think that the person's lying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So the fact that I don't really care that's a bit, you know, I wouldn't have tweeted maybe. I didn't tweet about it, you know.
No, I didn't either because it honestly sounded a little fishy to me.
It sounded a little fishy, but it's not surprising that people they go, they want you. Well, of course, in a court
But I didn't
of law,
feel a need to give my hot take that it sounded fishy.
Yes, exactly.
You know? And that's, you know, the reason that there's all this backlash in the other direction is because everyone feels like they have to give their fucking take on everything every fucking moment, you know, because they have followers and therefore they're leaders and that fucking, you know, I'm sick of it.
Except the right wing uses every one of those examples as, now, you know, the guy didn't get beat up. So it was all bullshit.
No, everyone looks bad. I mean, that's the thing, is everyone who reported it as 100% true.
Except Donald Trump Jr. looks good.
Always. I mean, he's very put together well.
Yeah, it was all...
and everyone backlashing against it, saying, whatever they're saying.
They spent
looks
3 days with
too.
that. The media, like you have that guy, what's that guy's name? Mike Barnacle. He's on, we have to decide. This guy was guilty of plagiarism, okay? And now he's lecturing people on TV. It's just, either way, it was like, okay, so they jumped to the wrong thing. Let's move on to the next situation, is what I say.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like the real fucking message is we overcovered this.
Yeah. The media makes me so nervous because I knew they blew it last time, and I'm really afraid they're going to blow it again this time with the Democrats going to be socialists now.
Right.
They love covering it like it's a sporting event. Have they learned nothing from 2016? The question's rhetorical.
Let's move on to some non-rhetorical questions.
Hey, can we say let's get after it?
No.
You know who says that?
Yeah, that fucking Cuomo. Guy.
Why does Cuomo have to make it seem like, all right, I know you're all upset. Let me explain what the deal is.
I don't like a newscaster who looks like he wants to give you a noogie all the time. Jim Meehan says, having recently acquired a French press and grinder, I've become a coffee snob. Is there any way to mitigate this so I can maintain my street cred with the plebeians?
I say go for it. I think it's the greatest thing in the world to know. I mean, you don't want to shove it in everyone's face, but because don't get me started on French press, because French press has a great taste to it, but I prefer paper filter. But you agree with me, right? He should enjoy it, feel proud.
I think you should proudly and silently enjoy it. But I do prefer paper to a French press.
Yes, and
for the time in, I'd take pour over time versus French press time.
And also, Jim, I want to say, I mean, there's some evidence that or belief that the filter traps the more unpleasant oils. So the people think that paper filter coffee is better for you as well.
Okay. I stopped caring.
I know, it's unbelievable. The look in your face. What if you were forced to be the moderator of a coffee show?
I would drink a lot more coffee before it. Casanova Frankenstein is back, by the way. He's made his second Thought Spiral ad. It's been like 50 shows. He just went away, disappeared. Now he's back, and I'm very happy.
Did he say why, or he's just gone?
I don't know. I think he was there all along, but he just wasn't.
He wasn't producing.
He wasn't producing. He wasn't participating.
He has his own life.
I understand. I'm not saying he was obligated. I'm just happy to see him back. He didn't even have a question. He just did a little promo thing, a promo tweet.
That's great.
Tweet Bahara says, think I may have gotten out of jury duty today because I was wearing my Thought Spiral t-shirt. Was it the 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours? I wonder.
That's a legitimate... I admire that way of getting out of jury duty, because it's not like these things like where you're lying. I hate these people who lie. I can't, my father's a cop, whatever the thing is. This is like, you're hoping the shirt will disqualify you, but you're not.
Right.
But you could still justify wearing the shirt.
You don't have to say anything, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm very proud of you. And every time I see Preet Bharara, I always think, have you guys met?
I bet Tweet Bharara would be a little embarrassed if he met Preet Bharara.
Maybe.
He also asks, I never got to see Brody do stand-up. Goddamn depression. Looks like that cliche about darkness being the other side of the coin of comedy might be true. I don't think that is true.
Yeah, probably it's a...
I think there are there are absolutely dark souls who are comics, but it's not a prereq.
Right. I do feel that the thing that made me love someone like Brody and love people like who are like him is that I do relate to how that is a safety valve of the dark side.
Right.
But I don't see that about myself, for example. I mean, I got issues.
Yeah, you got lots of issues, but I don't think you go to suicidal as any of your gears. Do you?
Right. Never.
Yeah.
I would tell you if I did. And I don't mean never like I'm better. I just hasn't. I would let you know.
I think you would.
Yeah. So, yeah. But no, in general, even without the suicidal part, it's the idea that the comedy comes from the dark side. It's not, it comes from dealing with the dark side. There's some truth to that, but it's true for everybody, regardless of how much. And it's not necessarily true for everybody.
It's not necessarily true with everybody because you can be dealing with it, and it has nothing to do with your comedy.
That's exactly true. You're right.
And I think, the thing that I think is a little bit harmful about it is that it's almost like the alcoholic worrying that if they quit booze, they're not going to be able to do their thing anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, it almost, I think, is discouraging to comics to get help if you just go, well, that's part of the art,
And it definitely is no more percentage of depressed people who do stand-up than do any creative pursuit.
No, I think that's probably true. In some ways, I think probably depressive stand-ups are treating themselves better than depressive civilians because at least they're talking about something.
Right, that's true.
Chris Wood says, my wife and I were front and center for Andy Kindler's Saturday Alt Show in Vancouver. He gave me the high five during the show. Because of Mr. Kindler's OCD, is there some sort of form I should fill out? Thanks for the incredible show.
You mean because he can't...
Maybe because you touched someone's hand?
Oh, no, but I don't have that kind of OCD. But I remember him. I think I know that it was him because there was somebody, he was, I think, laughing really hard at a couple of things that I would hope everyone laughed at.
Yeah, but you noticed just the one.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. I remember, I don't know what we high-fived about, but that last night was so much fun.
Mad City Architect says, will you guys consider guests on Thought Spiral? If so, I hereby nominate Jen Kirkman to be your first guest. Well, of course, Joel Madison will be our first guest if we ever have a guest, but Jen Kirkman is certainly a single-digit list.
I can't believe it. All I was thinking of was how quickly I would bump Joel Madison
for Jen Kirkman.
To Jen Kirkman. And I was like, oh my God, all of a sudden I saw a side of you, loyalty and valor.
I hope once again I've inspired you to better behavior.
Ooh, I mean, it was like a surprise. I was like, Joel who?
Jeff Goldstein says, I love the show. The show may not improve each Monday, but it always improves my Monday.
I like that. I wouldn't use that as a slogan, though.
No, I don't think we should.
But I like that it's happening.
Are there things that either of you collect? Art, antiques, vinyl records, comedy memorabilia, ephemera? What is the weirdest thing in your house? Favorite thing?
How about you? How about you? That's why I put it on you.
Weirdest thing in my house? Maybe a pygmy bong.
But you don't collect them.
I don't. It was brought back from my Peace Corps friend who actually smoked pot with the pygmies with it.
Come on, that's a great story. Even if it's not true, I love it.
No, it's true.
I always wanted to be a collector. I tried to collect stamps and got bored with it. And then I tried to collect antique things because I did enjoy that my parents did it.
Right.
But I could never find anything that turned me on. Baseball cards I liked contemporaneously with the... and I like to read graphic novels, but I don't like to collect them.
Right. Yeah, I was more of an amasser than a collector. I was never a serious collector of anything. The only thing I ever really collected with any focus was antique lighters, which I would,
yeah.
And that was when I was on the road. It was just a day-killing kind of activity. And so once I stopped being on the road all the time, I really stopped collecting. And stopping smoking kind of...
Yeah, made it like, why do I want the collection?
Yeah.
Also, I think, in general, people aren't going to have as large spaces to live in anymore.
Right.
It was like my parents seem to be able to store endless things down in the basement.
Right.
I'm paying for what I'm storing right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I find myself getting just less and less attached to shit. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not recondoing it out of the house yet. But,
yeah.
There isn't a lot that I would be crushed about if it all went away,
Maybe if I was wealthy, maybe I would collect things, but I don't know. It doesn't turn me on even when I said that. If I was wealthy.
It's just more stuff.
Yeah.
I really stop myself now whenever I think about things that will result in amassing more stuff.
I do too, and it's really, and I think of that at pot shops all the time.
Yeah.
Because they have so much packaging involved.
Right.
That,
the one thing I want to get is I need a new guitar.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you want?
I don't know. Just some kind of...
electric?
No, acoustic electric. I have a couple of electrics that I don't play very much. But I don't have a good acoustic right now.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
She turned into a podcast where I go with you. I have problems. I think we talked about this before. I have friends who could play guitar, and maybe you're this way. They could tell if a guitar is good. I never really could tell until I had it for a while. So I had to go with a friend who could tell right from the beginning.
It's a little bit like a mattress.
True.
You can't always tell in the store. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's just playability. It's just, for me, that's...
But you don't want it to sound like an ovation.
No, but I need to be able to play it without the frets buzzing, and I need to be able to, I need to figure out how thick the neck is, and if my fat little fingers can navigate the whole fretboard well and stuff,
I don't think you should talk about your fingers so negatively. That's it. And how much you want to pay?
I don't know.
Have you looked in the recycler?
I'm not looking for a serious guitar. I'm looking for like $1,000 guitar.
I think there's no $1,000 guitar should sound great.
Yeah, it's all the guitar I need.
Yeah, you don't need a Martin Schmeckel.
No, there's a lower end Martin that is like a composite body, but it has a lot of nice electric. Just it's a guitar I could hack around with, which is kind of.
It is. You definitely want the do you want the idea of the amplification built in?
Yes.
I hope I'm not talking over the head of the audience, but this is very, very technical stuff. I don't want to get into the weeds.
Which goddess of Lancashire Boulevard says, not sure if I've asked this before, but how would you rank the Beatles, the Stones, the Who, the Kinks?
Was that the name of her Twitter account is what?
Which goddess of Lancashire Boulevard?
Oh, I thought she was asking which goddess. I love that. Okay, so it's between the Beatles,
Stones, Who, Kinks.
I am locked in for my life to say the Beatles.
Okay, but there's 4 to rank.
Oh,
what order do you put them?
Beatles, Stones, Kinks, the Who.
Okay, I'd probably go Beatles, the Who, the Stones, the Kinks.
And let me update my opinion to say that I know so little about the King. I'd like to know more about the Kinks and more about the Who.
I wish that I could rank the Kinks higher because I think they're cooler than the Stones in some way. But there aren't enough songs that I love of the Kinks.
Right. But how could the Stones not be right after the Beatles? What could be?
Because I like the Who better because they did more shit. They tried more shit.
But the output.
Well, how many albums have the Stones made in the last 30 years?
Yeah.
Versus how many tours they've done.
I'm not good with these topics, but I do. But I always go with the Beatles, and then I feel I clam up.
Yeah, the Beatles is certainly at the top for me.
I was thinking today about how much I love Los Lobos as one of my favorite groups.
You always are very enthusiastic about Los Lobos. Yeah. Last night, I got loaded on a bottle of wine. On a bottle of wine. Don McCoy says, do you have your spouse's back when she is driving and has a driving event, or do you try to see the other driver's side? I have a hard opinion on this.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, is that when he's with her?
Yeah, it sounds that way.
I can't even come up with... First of all, I back up my wife up even if she killed a man.
Right.
Why was he running at us?
Why would, I mean, that's
a hard thing to have an opinion. Doesn't it depend on what the mishap was?
It probably does, but I would say just as a general sort of rule of marriage craft.
Your wife is right.
Yeah. Why the fuck would you side with a stranger driver?
Because I think I think he really has an issue with his wife's driving.
It might be.
Yeah.
Or they just had a fight.
Right.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
That was a thinker.
Yes.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Josh, I've been having recurring nightmares about your socklessness on getting dug with high. Please tell me they were below the ankle socks, or else let me odor eater those shoes.
What's the answer?
I guess I wasn't wearing socks that day.
Oh, now that is. I mean, I can understand.
I was wearing my moccasins, apparently.
I don't even know that you were capable of that move.
Yes.
What are you, like a granola eating hippie?
Why, yes, I am.
I never go out anywhere without socks.
Yeah, I do.
Did you think you were going to take a dip?
You know, it didn't occur to me that my feet would be visible on the show, quite honestly.
That makes sense. But also, why am I making a big deal? I know you're a very clean person.
My hands and feet don't sweat in general.
See, and you know your hands and feet better than most people would.
Better than Yoshi Yamamoto in Florida.
Yeah, Yoshi Yamamoto. First of all, he has the greatest feet.
But I'm kind of glad you're having recurring nightmares about it now, since you're being a dick.
Hey, you're going to make him shy the next time he wants to point out something wrong with you.
Greg Kelly says by the time Test Show 95 is out, Michael Cohen will have testified before Congress. Make sense of it for our future selves.
I think it's going to be explosive.
Yeah.
The thing is, I got very scared over the weekend because I thought that...
I think we'll see some anti-Semitism as a result of it.
Why? Because he's Jewish?
Mm-hmm. When all of Trump's fans are calling him a liar.
Yeah. But I got word over the last weekend that I started to think, I heard some people going, then maybe he'll have no definitive answers, Mueller or something like that. But now I'm back on the other side of like, so much stuff's going to come out, it's going to be really damaging. But I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of hard collusion, red meat in that Manafort sentencing memo. So,
did they sentence him?
No, not yet. Mueller just gave his recommendation.
It's not that long for Manafort, 25 years, with the kind of positive attitude he has.
That's right.
I keep thinking, you can't help but, unless someone's murdered somebody, which maybe he has, but you kind of don't want anybody to go to jail for that long, in a way. I know I'm wrong. I mean, like Madoff.
Yeah.
I know Madoff, but like I do understand, it's like I can't, you start to feel bad just when they show you the mug shots. I can't explain the feeling, but then you start to think, so I kept thinking, why did this guy do this? But he must have felt he had no choice in doing it. And I don't really feel sympathy for him, but he must really have he was just fucking around with every move. I'll try this, I'll try that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it, really.
I think it's all pardon.
It's pardon. Okay.
It's all pardon based.
So he could get pardoned just at any time of the day.
Legally, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's proved to be corrupt in its intent,
If he's pardoned, though, I just don't know. I just don't have a feeling a lot of people will be hesitant to go with him as an advisor.
Yes. Julian Valentich says, watching the Bernie town hall on CNN and wondering what changes, if any, the 2020 presidential campaign might bring to the spiral. Don't know yet.
I think we're never going to get breaking news.
Yeah. The weak lag makes, especially an election news thing, not that appealing to cover regularly.
But
I mean, obviously, I think it's going to creep in more, but I don't think it's going to become our thrust.
But the desire of the people who like Bernie to have you like him it's just, I can't take it much more of it.
Right.
I just don't like him. I don't hate him, but I don't watch him. And that's the thing, I guess I feel alienated from the 2016. I mean, I was excited that young people were excited.
Right.
But I just didn't get it. I didn't see what was exciting about him.
Right.
And I feel less excited now.
Well, I think we're both
in the same boat.
Well, we're not just automatically charmed by old Jews. I know that much.
He's not that, and the thing is, he's not that nice of an old. It's not like he's nice.
No, or charismatic, really.
No.
Or, yeah.
Welfare for all, welfare for all, Medicare for all. When they have those,
I just don't say, here's what bothers me about Bernie. And, well, there's more than one thing, but what bothers me about him as a leader is he's not a leader.
Right.
And
he's never been. He's always been the independent guy, right?
Yeah, and I just don't feel like I feel like he hasn't been nurturing the movement very much in the last 2 years.
Very Ralph Nadery.
Yeah, and so I feel like it all feels self-serving and disingenuous in some way to me, and narcissistic and power-hungry,
Yes. I feel that way a little bit about, not as much because I like Joe Biden, but I feel like I don't want him to run.
I think he missed it. And I also just think, he ran twice. And it's not like he became more, he's only inspiring as he relates to Obama.
Yeah.
At this point. But his own, pre-Obama charisma failed him twice at a much younger age.
Yes.
In presidential campaigns.
I know my dad liked him. So
and he plagiarized.
Wait, who? Oh, Biden. Oh, I got confused. Yeah.
Right.
No, Biden has so much baggage. He was not good during those hearings at all.
No.
And he was a perfect vice president. He's perfect. It was a great move that Obama went with him. It's like then you go, who can win? I don't know. We don't want to think about it. But yes, we'll talk a little bit about it. But we might. I'm hoping we don't have to. That the celebration will come before the election.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yoshi Yamamoto also wants to know, Andy, did your parents ever call you lazy? We have similar moody and judgmental mothers, so I'm wondering if you had that experience too. To me, it's one of the most damaging things you can tell your ADHD child.
They never said that directly, but I absolutely believe that I'm lazy, so I must have gotten that message. I have a bad thing with that laziness thing, the voice in my head.
Yeah.
The voice in my head. But it was more in my family of, what did you do? What did you do now? How did you get us in trouble now? So that was more like, it didn't matter if you were lazy, but if you brought any attention to the family, that was the biggest.
Was that the flavor of it always? Is what did you do to us?
Yeah. What did you do?
How did you ruin that Kindler name kind of thing?
Not to that dramatic, but along for my mom for sure.
But it's bringing shame upon the family.
Bringing shame upon the family.
Okay.
And it's like, really, you like that? The classic one was when I dressed backwards and went to school with me and my friend, and we walked backwards all day. And the gym teacher threatened to break my fingers, and it was like the whole thing. But when I got home, my mom was like, "What did you do? What did you do? How could you have done this? Going to school dressed backwards?"
Right.
I was a rebel in a way, but they definitely. I felt lazy, and I feel lazy. I felt that way, but it's like because I wanted to please them, I couldn't quit playing violin. I couldn't quit. I wanted to quit. So the fact that I hated it and stopped practicing is another way of me calling myself lazy.
Right.
But I don't think that was necessarily a thing that they specifically said.
Gotcha.
Jesus Christ. How about you? You didn't get any of that.
No, I didn't get any kind of real damaging berating ever. My mom was worried about what people would think, but my dad sure wasn't. So.
I think it's a very dangerous thing to teach. I also think it's like to tell kids they're lazy. And I also hate when people tell people that, if you want to be a comedian or you want to be whatever, it's hard work. It's hard work. Who wants to hear that it's hard work? They'll find out if it's hard work.
Right.
But I don't think people need to be reminded that there's unpleasant things in life.
Right, exactly.
I get the point, like, that people will talk about their career instead of doing something. So in that case, I do have like a work ethic, but I really feel for people who were told they were lazy. I think I can feel that.
Greg Kelly says, would you guys be willing to do your podcast at the festival in Austin? Austin, Minnesota, that is. With your approval, I'll try to broker a slot at the first Thursday event schedule at the Spam Museum.
He got me with that one too, because I thought, here we go again.
Greg Kelly also says, I think you guys would be terrible doing sports talk radio. Can you confirm that for me?
I think we would be so bad. Well, first of all, our lack of knowledge would hurt.
That would hurt, yeah.
You have more knowledge than me now.
I think so, yeah.
But my knowledge is, there's no...
I like the Jets. Go Jets.
How the Jets do today?
Not so good, okay.
Let's go to the sports bar, because otherwise we can't see the Jets. Hey, honey, I'm thinking about getting...
How about these wings? Are they spicy? Are they spicy? The wings, the hot wings, are they spicy?
Are they spicy?
Mark Thompson says, Josh and Andy, the next time you see castmate David Hayden Jones, could you please ask him, if he's amenable, how the Hallmark movie factory system works? He has starred in a few, and I've always been curious how they are able to pump so many out.
That does sound like an interesting topic.
Yeah, as far as I know, because I know other people who've done them, it's just that because they do them like TV, They shoot them 8 pages a day kind of pace, like a television show.
They're great
and
movies.
I think and I think they're tied into their listener feedback. So, or viewer feedback in their case. So, when David Hayden Jones scores big as the lead, they'll bring him back.
Yeah,
but yes, I'll ask him more in detail.
I keep looking every year for a Christmas movie, and I never find one.
But I think he and Danica McKellar did a couple together because they were popular as
a couple.
Their chemistry is going on tour as well. Seth Dick III says, this is directed to Andy. Your life coach bit on Letterman is the gold standard. Spoil us with reminiscences is what he said. But what he meant was reminiscences of the production.
Well, one fun thing for sure was the guy who we got to be mean. He wasn't really as mean as he was angry whenever I would be trying to talk back at him or whatever.
Yeah.
So but some people wondered, was he really like that? He wasn't really like that. But then there was people
he was playing along for you.
Right. But there were people like this guy, I forget his name, Zoltan, or there were some really great characters in that episode. That's one of my favorite things that people like to say they can do is, life coaches and such.
Yeah.
Every time I hear, it's almost like a funny name for a thing.
It is. Because it just screams bullshit. It just screams bullshit.
I know. I'm not convinced there's any good life coaches who call themselves life coaches.
No, I mean, I'm sure they serve purposes for people who need someone to answer to, the same way I go to a trainer.
It is. That's the only thing you could say, right?
But the audacity to call yourself a life coach.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. It's just, and then they all claim to have had some kind of training.
Right. I've had fake training in my fake job.
Life coach. But and I'm glad he said that was the gold standard. I'm very happy with that, and I'm available for field work.
My wife has a friend who's a life coach, and I just laughed and laughed and laughed because she was supposed to meet her for coffee, not as a life coach, but as a friend. And she had to cancel because she had just gotten evicted. And I was like, way to go, coach.
There is no way that you can be a life coach and tell anybody when bad things happen. I'm really depressed. I don't know if I can make our session today.
I guess maybe I'm just a little low energy from donating plasma.
But don't think that I'm not there for your coaching. That won't affect my coaching of you. My failures.
Right. Those who can't do. Perush says, he has got a two-parter. Perush says, should one boycott Kindler's sets at Moon Tower now that the live show isn't happening?
Yeah, that would be...
Asking for a friend.
I think you should. I think it should make it worse on me.
Yes. He also says, suppose the D-man were to reach the pearly gates. What would be his password? Choo-choo or Bucci?
I think it'd be calling in the Squatsky because he mispronounced it. Not in the Squatsky. This is not exactly on topic, but I've lost touch with my desire to see what he's saying.
Yeah.
And I think America has too, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone sort of went, oh, he's back? No, he's not. Oh, he's trying again? Oh, no,
he's still trying again. I'm still chugging along, Chi-Chi.
Hey, St. Pete.
Let me get this straight, St. Pete. I'm even tired of doing a Dennis Miller impression. Who?
David Gogo.
I just saw David Gogo. He was in Vancouver. I met the David Gogo into the flesh. And his maybe his daughter or his son and girlfriend.
All right. Well, you kind of just took the thunder out of his question. Andy, it was great to see you in Vancouver. Thanks for saying hello to me and the babies. How were the rest of your shows that weekend?
Well, the last show was fantastic because it was a full house and they enjoyed the whole thing. And I felt the night that he came, the first two nights, the crowds were a little bit odd, but I still had fun both nights. And it was great to see him there. He was like a celebrity in the crowd, front table.
Nice.
And I appreciate you coming out, David.
And did you call him out?
Of course.
You shouted him out?
I shouted him out it was more like I kept going back to him type thing.
Gotcha.
David Go-Go.
And did he have actual David Go-Go fans in the crowd?
Well, I didn't play up that part of it. I didn't say, folks, the
guitar legend.
The guitar legend David Go-Go was here. I didn't want to. I don't think people want to necessarily have that much attention, unless it would be you. You'd want to be.
Oh God, you know me. I'm spotlighting the audience, man. Derek Faraci, remember when "Where's the Beef" was the thing?
Where's the beef? Where's the beef?
You do.
Where's the beef?
What was her name?
Mrs. Beef.
Claire Peller.
I never thought it was that funny a commercial. Did you?
Once.
Oh, what was the where's the? She was looking for the beef in the first commercial.
Yes. Very large bun, very small patty.
We'll keep the light on for you. I remember that one.
That's good. Emilio Fox says, Andy, please describe what it was like to live in New York City during the Son of Sam murders. Were you concerned for yourself or your family? Did your parents give you a curfew?
Now, I always get confused. Was that during the 70s?
77, I believe.
Yeah, well, I was upstate at school, so I think I wasn't as worried. But it was a very concerning.
But it was during the summer.
I do remember, it's funny, I do remember thinking about it one summer. I just never thought he would come after me.
Yeah. Fair enough.
He was creepy, though. I mean, I do remember that one comic who did that great joke of, if your dog tells you to kill somebody, that's when it's time to say bad dog. Because Son of Sam was his dog.
Right.
That's a creepy thing. He got the wrong, first of all, I just mixed him up with Mark David Chapman.
Yeah.
They're both creepy to me.
David Berkowitz.
David Berkowitz, how many people did he was like, was he snipering?
No, he was abducting and killing.
I made that sound so you would know that in no way do I approve of abducting. And that was scary. It was definitely, I think, didn't Spike Lee make a movie about it?
Summer of Sam.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. Luke Holly says, Andy, loved you on the episode of Hound Tall about how to be good at sex. Now that you've learned about pegging and perineum stimulation, any chance you're going to try any of this with Mrs. Kindler?
Oh my God.
You didn't think that's where he was going?
That is the greatest question that is the greatest way anyone has ever phrased a horrible thought of a question. I was fascinated by this thing. This woman was so great. First of all, she was sexy to me, the sex therapist.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stop thinking about her and how sexy she was, and she kept talking about sex.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Good.
It was wonderful. Didn't learn anything.
No, you had all those moves?
Well,
all your taint moves?
No, I know. Yeah, and I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't going to get into my saucy material. But she was she was actually very good.
Yeah.
Because I also think, I don't know much about the field, but I think Dr. Ruth was very good.
Yeah.
I think there are people who talk about it, and they say it in a way that makes you feel less like.
Right. Was this in Canada?
Yeah, it was. Moshe Kasher has a podcast. It was his podcast, a live thing of his podcast.
Gotcha. Hound Tall, it's called?
Yeah, I don't get. Yeah.
It's like Town Hall, I think.
I never get puns, and I keep going.
James Curley says, I think my question for Test Show 94 missed the boat last week. So my question for Test Show 95 is, when's the best time to submit a question for upcoming test show?
You're definitely not early in the day, maybe, right?
No, I mean, anytime within a couple of days, it won't get lost if you hashtag it with the next show. So,
but we can't control what you say, right? Isn't he saying it didn't work? Oh, it never got read.
That's what he's saying.
I thought
he did it too late, I think. Our general schedule is we record on Mondays, which is the same show the previous show comes out. So
yes.
Think
Monday.
Monday's always a good day to put the question with the hashtag for the next show that came out.
And get the test show number right. Like it was hard for me to get the fact that JFL Northwest was in Vancouver, not Winnipeg.
Right.
You look so odious, it's even more than at the beginning of the show.
Odious?
Yeah, Otiose.
Wasn't it toast before? Wasn't it like Iatos or something?
No, Iotos. That's what did I call it?
Odios, you just
No,
called
it's
it?
IOTOS.
Which is a lot like odious, which isn't that
Ow! I hurt myself.
I'm sorry. I think we might have just run off the edge of the cliff here.
You know what? It couldn't be better timing for me. Because you have to go to sleep. I mean, I could keep going like this for hours. When I say I could keep going like this, I mean not doing that well with questions.
All right.
Well, Josh, I want to wish you best of luck this week, even though next week it'll be this week for next week.
Sorry, I panicked there. I was in a blind spot of the record light. So it looked like it wasn't on for a second.
Oh, my God. That made me... I knew what it was. I knew it was related to that.
Yeah, because I was staring directly at the recording device.
Go to Zazzle.
Zazzle.com/thought_spiral and get a t-shirt. It'll get you out of jury duty, people. Come on.
It works, and it works.
That's right.
And write to us at Thought Spiral Show, right?
At gmail.com. thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com. What else?
Oh, well, you're going to be in the club or something. Another club.
Yeah, I don't have to plug the dates. I can plug Chicago, March 16th. At North.
This is going to be a great show.
It will be. Trace Beaulieu, Frank Conniff, Gruber, and me doing stand-up, riffing, music, all sorts of shit.
It's a great room. And I guess that's it. I love you very much. And hey, what did they say in Hell Street Blues? Hey, be careful.
Let's be careful out there.
Let's be careful. Maybe that could be every week.
No, see, that was Hill Street Blues.
Oh, okay. Let's do podcasts out there.
How about, did someone say murder?